Yesterday was abysmal. We go 8-2 over the weekend, and then bang, we get smoked yesterday by the books. It is what it is. It happens. I don't know what to say. That sucks. On to today. 5 more best bets for college basketball. We've got stuff all day long today for Veterans Day. I'm kicking off with an early one at 10 o'clock. So we got college basketball bets throughout the day, folks. But if you have not yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. If you are looking for our college football predictions, I know they're not out yet. We're having some technical difficulties over here. Hopefully that video's out by noon today. I know the MAC games are today. One way or the other, I will have the college football predictions out today, at least for the MAC games. I think I can get the entire video out. It's already done. I'm just having difficulties processing it on my computer. I don't know. I don't know what's going on myself. I've been trying all day to get that video up. So hopefully that should be out today at noon. If not, we're in trouble. Anyways, NBA best bets later today on the channel. Of course, those are daily along with the college basketball best bets. Our NFL predictions are not today anymore. They're going to be tomorrow because of the difficulties, the technical difficulties with the college football video. NFL predictions probably tomorrow at noon. Now we're going to bump that back a day. And then on Greedo Plays MMA, our UFC 322 predictions with Islam Makhachev challenging for the welterweight championship in New York against Jack Della Maddalena. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets for college basketball. It doesn't get worse than yesterday, I know it's not what you always want to hear, but it's the truth. So, there's nowhere to go but up, okay? I know that yesterday was rock bottom. Our first best bet starts in the early game. 10 o'clock on the West Coast, 1 o'clock on the East Coast. From Kansas City, Missouri in the Sweeney Center, we've got the Kansas City Roos hosting the Iona Gales. Give me Iona. I'm going to take the Gales out of New Rochelle, New York to win this basketball game and cover 3.5 points. Iona is on the road here. They are a 1-0 team with an 8-point victory over Hofstra. It's not, some marquee victory, but it'll play. I guess it will. Iona's on the road taking on the Kansas City Roos. Guys, Kansas City, we just saw go on the road to Southern Illinois and get blown out. Game was not competitive from the jump. Southern Illinois gets on Kansas City, ends up beating them out in the first half, 48-34. Again, the Southern Illinois, the Greyhounds, I don't know actually their name. Regardless, Southern Illinois scores 101 points on Kansas City, completely dominates the game. They shoot 65% from the field in that game, and it's not like they're hitting a bunch of three-pointers. I mean, they are attacking the rim consistently, and there is not a single answer Kansas City has. So if Iona's just able to do anything close to that, this game shouldn't be close, right? Iona coming off an 8-point victory at home, of course, in New Rochelle. Completely dominating Hofstra in the first half. They let the pride back into it in the second half, but the game was pretty much over by then. Iona again goes into halftime up 44-27. Hofstra makes their runs in the second half, but really they don't get closer than, within 10 of the Gales in that entire second half. They ended the game on a little bit of a run. Again, not too concerned about Iona, again, having a somewhat competitive game with Hofstra there. The Gales were led in scoring on, I think was it Wednesday they played? I believe it was Wednesday. I think. Yeah, on Thursday by CJ Anthony, their sophomore out of Columbus. This is a player, 3-year player at Cincinnati, never got much run over there, didn't play more than really 5 minutes a night for the Bearcats over in the Big 12, comes on over to Iona, first game of the year, plays 30 minutes, scores 24 points. Again, this is a player who had shots at Cincinnati, never really broke through at Cincinnati, I should say. Puts up big numbers in his first game as an Iona Gale. 35 minutes as well out of Lamin Sabali. Sabali, a senior from Berlin, Germany, was with Incarnate Word last season, was with UTSA prior to that, now here at Iona. And their other big-time player, at least big-time minutes player for the Gales in their first game of the year, was Kosi Akmedu, the junior from Carson, California, puts up 27 minutes in that game. This is a player who was at Santa Clara, and as someone who watched a lot of Santa Clara basketball last season, I barely ever saw him on the court. He put up 14 points in 27 minutes. But again, you get 3 players here, Anthony Sabali and Akmedu, who are just being given opportunities. And guys who in the spotlight and given the minutes have actually performed fairly well. So again, there's a lot of upside with this Iona team. You can look at what they did last year, but I really don't think it's too applicable. That's like going back to the Bettino days and saying, oh, they were good back then. It's different. They went 17-17 last season with a completely different squad than what they have now. I know they started the year 1-5 last year, and they were horrible in non-con. They should be able to beat the crap out of the Kansas City Roos. And I like the Summit League, even though the Summit League hasn't been the kindest to us all year long. Shout out to the Jackrabbits. But other than them, Kansas City is a complete bottom-of-the-barrel Summit League team. I like to say at times I'm a Summit League expert. Kansas City last year won one playoff game in the Summit League tournament, or what tournament game, beating Oral Roberts before eventually losing to the Omaha Mavericks. Kansas City's entire thing last year, at least in the Summit League, was that they could give you a tough game, but they probably won't win. And they literally went on a run of like 4 or 5 games where they played teams, really good teams, to one possession. I don't think they're as good this year. I look at what Kansas City's got. 1-1 team so far this year, beating Evangel in their first game 80-74. Yeah, that's a D2 school. In the Evangel Crusaders, they beat them 80-74. Yeah, yikes. Their next game, Kansas City goes on the road to Southern Illinois, like we talked about earlier. They got 101 points put on their team, and my problem with Kansas City is that they have no defense. Watching their 2 games, that D2 game they play, everything is free inside. Same thing with Southern Illinois. There is no defensive presence out of Kansas City in either of these games. I just don't like it. Their leading scorer through 2 games has been Carmelo Branch, junior out of Tampa, Florida. This is his first year playing Division I basketball. Again, he's a junior, but first game against Evangelical, against Evangel, 16 points. In the Southern Illinois game, he scores 18. Again, that's not really the problem with Kansas City. The problem with Kansas City is that they can't stop, anything near the hoop. And that's going to obviously come back to bite them in the ass in this game. Again, the Southern Illinois game is not really competitive ever. You get big minutes right out of a guy like out of Carmelo Branch. 29 minutes out of Chris Dockery, who did put up 10 boards and 11 assists. This is a player last year who was at Weber State, now at Kansas City. Again, this is just how mid-major basketball works. You find a bunch of players who did not get opportunity on better mid-major programs, and now here they are starting at places like Kansas City. Again, this is a bottom-of-the-barrel Summit League, and yes, they prided themselves around last season being a team that can give you a run for your money. They can be really tight and low-scoring games. My thing is, they don't really play great defense right now, or they haven't been playing good defense so far this year. I know Iona was in a somewhat, at the end of the game it was close against Hofstra, but that first half was very meaningful in my opinion. I think Iona is going to go in here and dominate Kansas City on the road. It's our early game here at 10 o'clock. It's probably on one of the Summit League channels. I'm going to go Iona. It's one of those like subscription websites you have to pay for, I believe, for this game. I'm going to take Iona to go on the road and cover 3.5 points against the Kansas City Roos. I just don't think the Roos are going to play adequate defense here. So give me Iona. Next up, we go to our second best bet of the video. We go to a money line play. Let's go to Colorado Springs, Colorado for the Air Force Falcons and the Long Island Sharks. No longer the Long Island University Brooklyn Sharks, or the LIU Brooklyn Sharks as they were referred to last season. Just the LIU Sharks now. It's a rematch of last year, and you know what? They got me last year. I took Air Force to win this game. I was like, oh, LIU Brooklyn's horrible. No, not, well, LIU Brooklyn was a mixed bag last year. I thought they were going to win the NAC. They ended up losing to St. Francis in their championship game. But anyways, we saw this game last year, and LIU won. Long Island goes to Colorado Springs, and they really put it on Air Force early. They outscore them in the first half, and in the second half, Air Force just struggling to get back into the game. LIU Brooklyn really maintains their lead, eventually wins the contest by 9 points. Now, obviously, right, it's mid-major basketball. You have different players now on each squads. On LIU Brooklyn. Air Force obviously doesn't get the most transfers, but Air Force is led by their freshman guard, though, Cam Sanders. He's put up 13 points, averaged 13 points in their first couple of games, dropped 18 in the Belmont game, 8 points in the Austin, PA game. Again, I'll get into those in a second. For LIU, they just won their last game on the road against IU Indianapolis. A huge outing out of Greg Gordon, the senior guard. Played last year at UAB, started actually every single game for Iona back in 2023. Tried to play at UAB, didn't get much run, and now he's here at LIU, and he is going to be, I believe, the number one option for most of the season. LIU has played 2 games so far this year. First one, they go to South Bend, Indiana, and lose to Notre Dame. Again, expected. Last game, though, they go on the road to IU Indianapolis and win. It's another road test for them, but I'm not too concerned. I mean, yes, the travel's big. It's a game that they played this time last year as well. It's a game that they won last year, though. It's a game that they won, a low-scoring affair. I remember that game very vividly. Air Force just couldn't hit any shots in the second half or the first half, and they fell behind in the second. Couldn't really put anything up either. I look at this Air Force team, led by Cam Sanders, Ethan Greenberg, as well as averaging 13 points per game. It's a team led by freshmen, though. It's a team led by freshmen and a lot of inexperienced collegiate basketball players. And that really shows in their already first two results this year. Belmont can be tricky, 100% on the road. Air Force goes to Belmont and loses 79-63. Belmont and Air Force play a close first half. Belmont pulls away in the second, but it's really never in doubt that the Bears are going to win that basketball game, especially in that second half. Second game of the year for Air Force at home this time against Austin Peay. Again, Austin Peay had their moments last year in the ASUN. The ASUN is a interesting conference. They had a fun tournament, I thought. Their conference tournament was really fun. Austin Peay, though, a middling ASUN team, walks into Air Force and completely dominates the Falcons. 74-54 final in favor of the Governors. Game is not a contest. Right away, Air Force struggles to score, and that's usually a theme with Air Force basketball. It was last year. Obviously, this is a team that gets beat down quite a bit in the Mountain West. They are usually the worst team in the Mountain West. Well, Fresno's really bad, too, but usually, again, it is Air Force as dead last. It's a team that just struggles to score, and that same exact thing happened when they played Austin Peay. Austin Peay outscores them 33-22 in the first half, and obviously the second half is more of the same. Just Austin Peay is the one scoring, outscoring the Falcons by 10 points in that second half. It's not like I don't think Air Force has a huge home court advantage. I mean, they were slight dogs in the Austin Peay game, and Austin Peay really took care of business. And I look at Air Force, there's not a lot of scorers on this team. When they played Austin Peay, they scored 54 total points. Ethan Greenberg, again, one of the freshmen, scored 21 points, and they had one other 10-plus point, a double-digit scorer. That would be Wesley Klikowski, their junior center who's back from last year from Georgetown, Indiana. He scored 10 points, and no one else on the team scored double digits. Yikes. That's concerning. Cam Sanders, again, who plays big minutes, scored quite a bit in the Belmont game, scores 8 points on 1 of 6 from the three-point line, 2 of 10 from the field. Eli Robinson scores 9 points in 33 minutes. It's not like anybody on the bench is all that great either. Just simply put, guys, it's not a very good Air Force team. They got worse from last year, and Air Force wasn't very good last year, but they got worse. Okay? Klikowski, again, is back still, but arguably, no, I don't want to say arguably, their best player is gone. It was Ethan Taylor last season. Ethan Taylor, basically last year for Air Force, wouldn't come off the court. He would play nonstop. He would play, anywhere from legitimately 35 to 40 minutes per game, and he put up majority of their shots. Now, he didn't last year, oddly enough, in the LIU game, but watching Air Force throughout the season, it was just all Ethan Taylor. Obviously now he has graduated. I assume is he actually in the Air Force now? I mean, that's how that works. He went to the summer league. I don't think. Oh, he was first picked in the first round of the G League draft. That's random. He's with the Charlotte Hornets now, so I guess he's bypassing the Air Force, which I think you can do if you get drafted to the NBA, right? Anyways, not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that's like the David Robinson rule, I think. Anyways, their best player's gone. Ethan Taylor is now with the Charlotte Hornets. So I think this is a great spot for LIU Brooklyn. Again, are they, a team with new players at the same time? Sure. But Air Force has looked awful this year, and I saw LIU in their last game score 94 points. Air Force is nowhere near capable of that. Yes, they're going to, use a shot clock, and it's going to be tough to score that many points against them because of just the pace that they play. But I like LIU Brooklyn in the spot. Give me the Sharks, minus 140 on the road in Colorado Springs at Air Force. This is a 1 o'clock start time. Again, we've got games all throughout the day. So give me LIU Brooklyn on the road in Colorado Springs. On to our third best bet of the video, we go to another money line pick. I know we've got some big games today, and we are going to cover one of those big games in a second. Obviously, if you saw it on the thumbnail, there you go. Unfortunately, today we're not going to be covering Florida State, Florida. 18.5 feels like a lot for the Gators. I think they can probably cover it, but I'm going to stay away from that. The other big game today is, off the top of my head, I'm blanking right now. Who is it? Oh my goodness. It's Zaga Creighton. I'd rather not. And then Kentucky-Louisville's the one I was missing, the Battle of Kentucky. I'd lean Louisville, but I don't feel like betting on that. Okay. Instead, we're going to be betting on this instead. Florida Gulf Coast at home from Fort Myers, Florida against the Georgia Southern Eagles. Give me FGCU. Expect absolutely zero defense. Expect zero defense in this game. We look at both of the two games that these two teams have played, and you know what? We're going to be betting on this game. We're going to be watching this game, okay? I think we're going to get some great entertainment out of it. Unlike that game yesterday that was played, don't get me started, with SIUE and Indiana State. Again, I I was grateful for SIUE for cashing the other week against UTSA. They come back home, and this team goes multiple times, by the way, multiple times in this game, they go 6+ minutes without scoring. Or hitting a field goal, obviously, from the field. What? It's unbelievable. So, I don't think we're going to lose this one, but if we do, at least we're going to get an enjoyable game and not have to sit through Sycamores and Cougars basketball, again, from Illinois. Oh, it was horrible yesterday. Anyways, we're going to go Georgia Southern, FGCU in this spot. Give me Florida Gulf Coast. I think Florida Gulf Coast can win this game. Unfortunately for these guys, and I'm not going to knock Brandon Dwyer's hustle, but their most notable thing about their season is that Brandon Dwyer, TikTok star Brandon Dwyer finally scored a point, at least like in the mainstream world, obviously, because it's not like FGCU is some powerhouse. But regardless, Florida Gulf Coast won their first game against New College of Florida. Again, that's the game where Dwyer scored his first point. But then FGCU goes on the road and immediately welcome back to reality. They go to Urbana-Champaign and lose to Illinois 113-70. There's one player on this team that I trust to score. And if you watch the last game, it was all J.R. Konensky. Put up 26 points against Illinois. Only scored 5 in the D2 game, but in a game like you saw against Illinois, you kind of find out who your guys are, and that is what J.R. Konensky is. This is a 3-year player at Notre Dame. Really had a bench role last year for the Fighting Irish, but in that 23-24 season, he did play very big minutes and played 23 minutes a night and started most games for the Fighting Irish. So this is a guy, again, from South Bend, Indiana, transfers out of Notre Dame for his senior year. I think he's going to be a big-time player in this game. We saw, again, a big night on the road in Illinois, and I get it, FGCU is not competitive in that game, but that's where you figure out who your best players are, and that's when you figure out who your scorers are. So that's what, again, I believe JR is going to be. Georgia Southern, 2 very high-scoring competitive games so far to start the season. The first of which, a loss on the road in Greenville, North Carolina against the ECU Pirates. 89-92 final score in favor of ECU. Again, no defense being played. It is high tempo, and it is shots, continuous shots the entire game. Georgia Southern's whole thing, again, play with pace, take a 3-point shot if it's there. Second game of the season, they beat UNC Asheville. Georgia Southern, wins 93-90. It is a high-scoring second half. First half actually somewhat low-scoring as the Bulldogs of UNC Asheville actually go into halftime up 7 points, but Georgia Southern then explodes in the second half, scoring 61 points. That's absurd. 61 points for Georgia Southern. Of course, winning the basketball game. I think we're going to be fine here with Georgia Southern. Oh, by the way, I need to say, Georgia Southern has Spud Webb on their team. Yes, the Spud. No, I'm joking. I believe his name's actually Tavarius Webb, but he's a transfer whose nickname is Spud, and it's his first year playing D1 basketball. He's a senior. He's not like 5'7" like the actual Spud Webb is. And again, there's no relation. I'm very confident. Anyways, I just thought I'd point that out. He did drop, Spud Webb did drop, 25 in the UNC Asheville game in 32 minutes. Big time. I just think Florida Gulf Coast wins. So what I see with this game, to me, it looks like a mirror match. You got 2 teams that score quite a bit. No defense is really played on either side. In a game like this, I'm going to go with the home team. Again, this is Georgia Southern. It's not that far of a trip, I understand, from Georgia Southern over to FGCU. But FGCU at home, not that they have the biggest fan base. Most of their fan base is legitimately Brandon Dwyer fans. But regardless, it's fine. I mean, that place erupted when Dwyer finally scored. I like, again, what we got out of their Ford and JR in their last game. That looked good against Illinois. When in a game where you're searching for positives, that was one. And sure, again, it was a 43-point loss. But you throw Georgia Southern in a game on the road at Illinois, I think the same exact result. So I think we're fine here with FGCU. I think we see a high-scoring game. And when, again, I see 2 high-scoring teams, I'm going to take the team at home. I think FGCU is going to be fine here. Put up 96 points in their first game, albeit against a D2 school, I understand. But look at the amount of points that Georgia Southern has given up in back-to-back games. 90 points to UNC Asheville in a victory, and then 92 points in a loss to ECU. Yeah, I'm going to go with Florida Gulf Coast here. So give me FGCU at home to win. That'll be minus 115 on the money lines again for the Eagles. On to our 4th best bet of the video, we go to the biggest game of the day. We did briefly mention Illinois earlier, obviously, because their last victory is against FGCU. But the biggest game of the day, other than the Battle of Kentucky, obviously, with the Wildcats and the Cardinals, I just don't have the best bet for that one. Instead, we're going to go to FS1, partly because we can't watch the ESPN game legally, so we're going to watch the FS1 game instead. Anyways, that's not actually the reason, but I thought I'd throw that in there. Texas Tech versus Illinois. This is a good basketball game. This is a really good basketball game. Obviously, both teams have played, beat down games so far this year. They've both played bye games. Texas Tech beat Lindenwood. They beat Sam Houston for the Fighting Illini. 2 113-point wins. Yes, they scored exactly 113 points in back-to-back games, and a 113-55 victory over the Jackson State Tigers, and a 113-70 victory over the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. So they've been 30-plus point favorites in both games that they played so far this year, but the Fighting Illini look really good, and this is a team that does bring back quite a bit of players from last season. It's a good Illinois lineup. Illinois, had their moments last year. They obviously did. Obviously, they would have liked to finish their season a little bit better than they did last year. Again, they had an up and down 2025. Obviously, we started off really hot and then kind of just fell off a cliff as the season went on. I know they still finished, but they were 5. They were a 5 seed, right? They were 6, beat Xavier, and then lost to Kentucky. Yes, lost to Kentucky in the second round. Again, they had Kasparis on their team, obviously, and now they're trying to figure that out with him gone. But you still have quite a bit of solid players in this Fighting Illini squad. They're taking on Texas Tech again. Both teams are ranked. Illinois currently the 14th ranked team in the country. Texas Tech is ranked 11th. So again, a good game, but it's in Urbana-Champaign, right? It's in Illinois. Should favor the Fighting Illini quite a bit. This is a team that does bring back a couple big-time starters from last year. Obviously, Kasparis was the number 1 player on this team last year. He's now gone. But again, we'll get into their replacement guys that they've brought in. Killian Boswell is back, and Boswell has been putting up big numbers. Again, I know FGCU doesn't really play defense, but Boswell, again, former Arizona player, started every single game for Illinois last year. He was a 13 points per game scorer last year. He's averaged 20 so far in their first 2 games. And I understand that those are against mid-majors, but Boswell's back. Petrovic is also back as well. But they're starting the 2 right now. They're starting Keaton Wagler. Petrovic is one of their other 2 guards, but Wagler starting at the 2 guard, freshman out of Shawnee, Kansas City, back-to-back games, averaged 20 points in both of those, or over those 2 games. How about Andreas Stojakovic, who's coming off the bench right now, but again, from Cal, was Cal's best player last year. That's a big spark off the bench, and sure, his numbers don't look great yet. Trust me, I watched this guy play at Cal quite a bit last season. That's a big boost to get off your bench. It just is. You have a guy off in your second unit that can score, that can create for his own shot. He'll figure it out at Illinois, don't get me wrong. And then one of their bigger pieces as well at the 5, obviously that's going to be, they've got both Ivisic now, but Zonavimir and Tomislav Ivisic, both obviously here at Illinois as well. Tomislav did not play their last game. I don't think he's got Tomislav. He does not have mono again, but he's out for this game. I believe he's knee injury, isn't it? Regardless, you do get Petrovic is back now, I believe, and then obviously the other Ivisic is playing tonight. I'm okay with that. They're at home, and yes, again, you lose Kasparis last season. I think they're going to be fine. Again, Boswell has been very good so far. And Illinois has got some really good, again, young players. You look at a guy like Wagler, who is a freshman as well, who's played fairly well. You got Stojakovic coming off the bench, obviously, from California. I like the team quite a bit. I do. And they're taking on Texas Tech here, right? And Tech is 2-0 this season, right? Coming off that win over Sam Houston. It's a blowout victory. And if you got to talk about Texas Tech, obviously you're going to talk about JT Toppin. Toppin, one of the better players in the Big 12. Last season, he was a 19 points per game scorer. So far this year, obviously one game scored 31 points. But that's the guy to watch, obviously, for Tech this season. Other than him, though, I mean, it's a good team. I'm not going to hate on him. But JT Toppin is the only returning starter on this team, if I'm not mistaken. I think. They bring in Lawan Watts off their bench. I had to mention that. Again, he's not starting right now, but Lawan Watts, Washington State player. I think Toppin's their only returning starter. I could be wrong about that. Christian Anderson was there last year. Yeah, Christian Anderson as well, obviously, is a returning starter for them. Started some games last year, but a returning player for them in their starting lineup. Christian Anderson so far this year, 1 game or 2 games, averaged 26 points. That's big time for them. Other than that, though, again, you get a lot of transfers on this team. You got Atwell from UNC Greensboro, and UNC Greensboro had their games last year. Josiah Mosley's from Villanova, and of course, you got Lawan Watts off the bench. Tyree Bryan from Santa Clara. There's players, and again, JT Toppin's their guy here. I know Ivisic to guard him, obviously, but I mean, that's going to be Zvonimir instead of Tomislav today, and obviously, Toppin's going to be way quicker than Ivisic, but we'll see how that goes. Again, Toppin is, he's an undersized 5. He's he technically has to play the 5, but really in Tech's system, he's a 4, he's a big 3/a 4. But obviously, he's going to be forced to play the 5 against a big 5 for Illinois and the former Arkansas Razorback and Zvonimir Ivisic. We'll see how that works. Again, I like Illinois in this game. They're at home. It's a big game, don't get me wrong. I do think the all-around lineup for Illinois is slightly better. I think, obviously the best player on the court does come with Texas Tech and JT Toppin, but I do like, again, the adjustments Illinois made this offseason. I think, again, a move that I like quite a bit is Stojakovic. Saw him play at Cal last year. That guy, again, when he gets going, is very talented, creates for his own shot, again, very lethal from beyond the arc. I think so far this year, again, Killian Boswell has played amazingly. You get Keenan Wagler as well. The freshmen's look good so far. There's a lot of good players on this Illinois team, and they've scored quite a bit in their first 2 games. Obviously, right, you're going from taking on FGCU and whatnot and these low-level teams to a very solid and credentialed team in Texas Tech. But I do believe the Fighting Illini can get this one done. I'm going to go Illinois at home, biggest game of the day, -3.5. That home crowd's going to make a factor, or it's going to be a factor, obviously. Biggest game so far of the year in Urbana-Champaign. I think they're going to come through. So give me the Illinois Fighting Illini at home, -3.5 against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. On to our final best bet of the video, we move to the nightcap game. And we're going to go to the Thomas & Mack Center over in Las Vegas, Nevada, as we've got the UNLV Rebels hosting the Montana Grizzlies. Give me Montana +10. It's just a lot of points. And I understand Montana's last game did not go well. They went to Stanford, and it did not go well at all. They lost 91-68. Okay, we're going to try it again here with Montana on the road at UNLV. I think they just played a horrendous basketball game. They could not score early in that game. They went down, I think 11-2 was it. Did climb back into it, but ultimately it was just a rough first half as a whole for Montana, and Stanford poured it on in the second. I think, again, it is what it is. Obviously, we picked Portland State in their first game against Stanford, and they covered. Obviously, we did not look at the Montana game, but we're going to try it again here with the Grizzlies. We're going to go again. We're going to take the Grizzlies here. We think that they can get their second road game here against UNLV. For UNLV, first game they lose to UT Martin. Again, the Mountain West is good. The Mountain West is really good. You can't lose a bye game to UT Martin. They come back their next game, play another team from Chattanooga, play another team from Tennessee. Pretty sure Chattanooga's in Tennessee. No, I'm very confident it is. I think it's not Georgia, is it? I'm pretty sure Chattanooga's in Tennessee. Yeah, it is. They play Chattanooga. They blow out the Mocs big time, 101-69. I just don't like the UT Martin result. And I think Montana, again, this is a capable team. They did not play well against Stanford. I completely understand it. First 2 games of the year, they win, albeit against, let's just say, it's, bum schools. They play D2 Northwest Indian, then they play Ottawa in Arizona. What? But this is, this Montana team last year, they won the Big Sky. They won the Big Sky, looked really good in the Big Sky. How about Money Williams? He's back. Williams was a big-time player for them late in the year. Did score 19 points against Stanford in 34 minutes. Obviously, that was nowhere near enough. But he's back, and Money Williams, especially second half of the year, was a huge-time player for the Montana Grizzlies. You do lose a guy in Brandon Whitney who scored quite a bit down the stretch. Same thing with Austin Patterson, who did have his games. But Money Williams is the guy. He was their guy all year long last year, and he now returns, and that's, again, the main guy you need back. Malik Moore is now at Xavier, but also Tejon Sawyer is back, too. He is a senior from San Francisco. Averaged 10 points per game last year. Former Cal Baptist player. Started every single game for them last year. Starting every single game, obviously, this year for them. They've got a lot of pieces back on this team, and I honestly don't mind it at all out of the Grizzlies. Again, Williams and Sawyer are the 2 guys to watch. They just had a piss-poor shooting effort in the Stanford game, and you know what? It is what it is, right? You go on the road, take on an Atlantic Coast Conference team over in Stanford, California. But you take on an ACC team, it is what it is. You lay an egg early, and you really can't get back into the game. UNLV so far this year, yeah, they look good against Chattanooga. That first game against UT Martin, though, they're extremely beatable, and we don't need Montana to win the game. We just need to keep them. We just need this game to be close, and I think they can play a competitive game here against UNLV. Again, the Rebels play in this very loaded Mountain West, top-heavy Mountain West conference. Obviously, great teams like last year, Utah State, New Mexico was good. Boise was good. I mean, there was a lot of very good teams. I'm forgetting one off the top of my head right now. Colorado State was very good. There's some really good teams in the Mountain West every single season. I just think we get a competitive game, competitive enough game with Montana. And legitimately, it all starts with Money Williams. At the same time, too, UNLV does have a date ahead on Sunday against the Memphis Tigers. Big nationally televised spot on ESPN. I'm not saying they're overlooking Montana, but if you are going to overlook a team, your first road trip's coming up. Oddly enough, why does this team love playing teams from Tennessee? UT Martin is University of Tennessee Martin, right? It's not. Yeah. Why are they playing 3 Tennessee teams in their first 4? That's odd. But if there is ever a case of looking ahead of an opponent, that's what UNLV is going to have this week, and obviously or today. The Rebels, again, 2 games look good. Naz Cunningham, currently their leading scorer, freshman, scored 25 points in the Chattanooga game. Again, got a lot of run when that game was out of hand, but has played big minutes so far for them this season. Obviously, he's been a guy off the bench. He does lead them in scoring so far. Likely their leading scorer all year long, I would think, is going to be probably Gibbs Lauren, I believe. Former Illinois player, played, sparingly off the bench last season. I assume he's going to be their leading scorer this year out of UNLV, averaging 15 points per game currently. Howie Fleming as well, I expect to get big minutes. This is a player who's bounced around a lot. Started at Illinois State, went to Winthrop, then went to Rio Grande Valley. We'll see. Again, started pretty much every single game last year for the Vaqueros. I can expect him to probably start quite a bit this year for UNLV too. I just think Montana keeps it close. I like the returning players at Montana. I understand their last game against Stanford was not good, but trust me, like a lot of these guys are returning from last season. Got to watch the Grizzlies quite a bit last year in the Big Sky. This is a team that can score. They are very capable. And trust me, players like Money Williams should be able to keep them in this game alone. I think Montana can score enough against a UNLV team that does give up points too. I think we're fine here. Give me the Montana Grizzlies plus 10. Doesn't matter if it's football or basketball. UNLV doesn't really play defense this year, so I'm going to take Montana on the road plus 10. Don't care who wins. UNLV will most likely get it, but give me the Montana, the Grizzlies on the road to cover the spread. Folks, thank y'all for watching our college basketball best bets here for November 11th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.